Okay, let's dive right into this explainer. Today we're unpacking a seriously gripping Western thriller called Secrets of the Bitter Creek Sister. It's one of those stories that starts off as this quiet, kind of eerie mystery, but then it just absolutely explodes into a massive fight for survival. So let's head back to the thunderous spring of 1882 and see exactly how this whole thing unfolds. Picture this: 1892 Montana Territory, a forgotten, rugged little town called Bitter Creek. The setting right off the bat hits you with these intense sensory details. You can practically hear the rolling thunder and smell the mix of rain, horses, whiskey, and coal smoke. It feels so lived in, but also really dangerous. And right into the middle of this gritty scene steps our inciting incident. Her name is Clara Bennett. She just got off a stagecoach after a grueling 700-mile journey from St. Louis. She's wearing a black dress, she's clutching this silver locket like her life depends on it, but it's actually not her outfit that makes every man in town freeze. It's her face. Because she looks exactly like a ghost. Specifically, she is a dead ringer for the local sheriff's deceased wife. And man, that brings us to this incredibly tense standoff inside the town's weather-beaten sheriff's office. Clara comes face to face with Sheriff Wyatt Callahan. Now, Wyatt is this broad-shouldered guy, tired gray eyes, sporting a nasty scar from his jaw all the way down to his neck. Basically, he looks super dangerous even when he's just sitting there doing nothing. But when Clara walks in, his shock is so profound, it's actually physical. His heavy revolver literally slips right out of his hand and hits the floor. And he just stares at her and delivers this gut-wrenching line: "You got no right looking like her." This is a tough, hardened lawman completely paralyzed by a ghost from his past. So this sets up a brilliant visual and narrative contrast right out of the gate. On one side, we've got Clara Bennett, the living, breathing sister from St. Louis, showing up with nothing but a suitcase, a Bible, and a promise. And on the other side, we have this heavy, tragic memory of Rose Callahan. Wyatt explains that Rose actually died 5 years ago during this brutal winter fever that nearly wiped out the whole town. This comparison immediately hooks us, right? You can't help but wonder, how are these two identical women connected? And why on earth didn't Wyatt know his wife even had a sister? Well, let's get into that with Part 1, A Sister's Secret. See, Claire doesn't just expect Wyatt to take her word for it. She hands him this old, worn photograph of the two of them as little girls to prove they're actually sisters. And the timeline she reveals is just tragic. First, Rose runs away out west. Why? Mostly because their dad absolutely hated Wyatt for being a lawman. He was convinced sheriffs only ever end up in early graves. Then, step 2, the dad lies to the rest of the family, telling them Rose just selfishly abandoned them. Step 3, Rose dies of that winter fever 5 years ago, leaving Wyatt totally shattered. Step 4, Clara's mother, who apparently never ever stopped crying for Rose, passes away just last month, which finally brings us to Step 5, Clara arriving in Bitter Creek. It's just a really heavy, sorrowful family history. But taking all that heavy history into account, it forces Wyatt to ask what is arguably the most important question of the entire story. Why come now? Think about it for a second. If this was just about clearing up old family drama and making peace with the past, the sudden urgency doesn't really track, does it? This right here is the critical turning point where the story expertly pivots. We're moving from a quiet family tragedy into something so much darker. And Clara's response is just chilling. She looks at him and says, "Because someone tried to kill me in St. Louis." Boom. Just like that, the whole genre of the explainer shifts gears. We're definitely not just dealing with grief and lost family anymore. We are thrust straight into a high-stakes thriller. Clara didn't travel 700 miles just to reminisce about the good old days. She is literally running for her life. Which brings us to Part 2, the $1 million conspiracy. So Clara finally opens up that silver locket she's been gripping so tightly. Inside is this tiny, folded up piece of paper, and it's stained with old blood. Her mom gave it to her literally right before she died, with extremely strict instructions to find Wyatt Callahan if things went south. Clara has been carrying the physical proof of a massive conspiracy right next to her heart, all the way across the country. The second Wyatt unfolds this little piece of paper, all the color just drains from his face. Why? Because of a single word written on it: millions. Wyatt instantly realizes this document is undeniable proof of a colossal land theft. I mean, millions of dollars back in 1892? That is an astronomical amount of money. The stakes have officially skyrocketed. This isn't some tiny misunderstanding. It's a highly profitable, massive criminal enterprise. And Clara? She's holding the smoking gun. Wyatt starts putting the pieces together, and the scale of this conspiracy is just wild. Here's how the whole shebang works. Step 1. These huge, powerful railroad companies have been systematically stealing local ranch land. Step 2. The whole system is in on it. Judges, bankers, local politicians, they're all working together to cover it up. And step 3. If anyone gets too close to the truth, hitmen are deployed to silence them permanently. Wyatt realizes with this grim certainty that Clara's mother had the evidence. And now those powerful men in their expensive suits, the guys who smile while they ruin lives, they are coming straight for Clara. All right, let's move to part 3, escape to the mountains. Almost as if simply talking about it summoned them, the quiet of the office is completely shattered. Bang! A bullet literally tears right through the window. The pacing in this scene is absolutely phenomenal. Wyatt's instincts kick in instantly. He lunges across the desk, drags Clara down to the floor just as glass explodes everywhere. Another shot blasts through the wooden wall. Outside, you can hear horses thundering through the muddy street. Wyatt grabs his rifle, fires back blindly through the doorway, and you just hear a man scream, then silence. Just the sound of the hammering rain. In about 5 seconds flat, Wyatt goes from a grieving, quiet widower to a fierce, adrenaline-fueled protector. He knows if they stand Bitter Creek for even one more minute, they're dead. So they become the hunted. They start this desperate, chaotic escape out into the wilderness. The story paints this incredibly vivid picture. They're racing on horseback through the stormy, muddy Montana wilderness. Lightning is flashing across the pitch-black sky. The wind is absolutely howling. They ride hard for hours until they finally reach Wyatt's hidden sanctuary. It's this small, clean little cabin hidden deep in the pine forests, completely packed with books and old maps. It's essentially a fortress, totally isolated from the corrupt world down below. And the narrative gives us this really brilliant juxtaposition here. On the outside, you have the cold threat, right? You've got hired guns tracking them through the freezing snow, all driven by this massive, greedy political conspiracy. But inside the cabin, you have this warm, incredibly human memory. Wyatt hands Claire some coffee by the firelight, and he finally admits that she really does remind him of Rose. Rose used to sing, and she made that whole dusty cabin feel so much warmer. And in this beautiful, really quiet moment, Claire just starts humming an old lullaby. Wyatt recognizes it instantly. It's a shared melody that profoundly connects Clara to Wyatt's own grief. It's this fleeting, lovely moment of human warmth right in the middle of all this freezing danger. But of course, that peace doesn't last. Part 4, the cabin under siege. The quiet inside the cabin is suddenly broken by a loud crack echoing from outside. Then another one, footsteps crunching in the snow. Wyatt instantly blows out the lantern, throwing the entire cabin into pitch black darkness. Someone actually managed to track them through the storm. Wyatt cautiously opens the door, and Deputy Eli Morgan just stumbles inside completely covered in snow and his own blood. He delivers this absolute gut punch of a warning. There are at least 6 riders coming up the mountain right now, and his last words before passing out are, "They know about the paper." As Morgan collapses, Clara doesn't panic. She immediately drops to her knees, her hands moving calmly and skillfully to treat his gunshot wounds, completely unfazed by the total chaos around them. Now, from a storytelling perspective, this brings up a really fascinating narrative device called external pressure. It's basically when intense outside threats force internal character healing and growth. See, watching Clara calmly tend to this bleeding deputy, Wyatt actually feels something he hasn't felt in 5 long years: hope. And it's not because Clara is some replacement for his dead wife, not at all. It's because her sheer courage and her calming presence remind him that life can actually still move forward. The external, literal siege of this cabin is the exact thing that forces Wyatt to finally break out of his internal, emotional prison of grief. And that is exactly where the story leaves us hanging, right on the absolute edge of our seats. Think about it. Wolves are howling deep in the freezing mountains. An army of hired killers is sweeping the forest below. And inside this lonely, freezing, pitch-black cabin, you've got two wounded souls and a bleeding deputy cornered with millions of dollars worth of bloody evidence. So, I want to leave you with this provocative question to chew on. How in the world can they possibly survive these absolutely brutal odds? The stage is perfectly set for an epic, explosive showdown. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and as always, keep questioning the narratives around you.